Hey collectors! So today I'm going to be talking about cabinets, bookcases, Detolfs, Klingsbo, my showcases. I've had a few collectors go and ask me on YouTube, on Instagram, online, on Facebook, whether it's better to just use a Detolf over a bookcase, or if they should be getting one of these, what kind of lighting they should be going for. I can't help with lighting because not even I've worked all of that out yet. But I'm hoping that me talking today, I'll be able to give you some pros and cons of the different cabinets that I've used in the past and versus ones that I've actually gone out of my way not to get for whatever reason. And hopefully I'll be able to give you a little more information to help you decide whether you want to go for one of these kinds of showcases or if you want to go for something a little bit smaller like the Detolf. So firstly, I will talk about just regular bookcases. So these are just the bookcases that you'd have at home for, all the books that you've gone and gotten over the years, that your parents have gotten, whatever it is. I know pretty much every collector that I've been friends with have started off with just storing it in a bookcase. They've gone and been collecting manga or anime, and they've got all that stuff there, decided, I'm gonna get a couple of figures, a couple of Nendoroids, whatever. And they've gone and just stored them in front of those, and it's fine for just a couple. But I found that as you get more and more obsessed, that becomes a really bad solution just because it looks really cluttered and I find that it's not very presentable. That said, for some people that might not be an issue. So I find that if you're gonna go for a bookcase as your solution, that you should be going for a lighter wood over a darker wood. Only because the darker woods make it look a lot more overbearing, a lot darker. Surprise. Of course, if you add some lighting into it, it can make it look a bit better, but I find that lighter woods just looks a lot cleaner, looks a lot nicer. It does mean that you'll have to dust a little more frequently because it will show up a lot sooner, but perhaps that's probably for the best. Moving from bookcases, the thing that I went to next was the Detolf. So for those that don't know, the Detolf is a glass cabinet from IKEA. And in most countries, IKEA is available, and these cabinets are the cheapest solution for cabinets, at least from my experience. It comes with 4 shelves, it's non-adjustable, it's got a wire frame, it has a hole in the top for putting in lighting, which is awesome. So IKEA also provide a couple of lighting solutions called the Dioda, which are either puck lights or LED strips. I find that the LED strips are better, but it really depends on what you like. So the Detolf is an awesome solution, especially for early collectors, because they're inexpensive, you don't need to do much to set them up, it's easy enough to set them up by yourself, and you can easily get more, and there are other IKEA solutions to help with raising them up, things like that. So it's a very good, very easily adjustable solution. The height limitation can be a bit of a problem, particularly if you get bigger figures like Freeing's 1/4 scale bunnies, and you'll have to go and either do a Detolf customization, which is easy enough, and there are lots of tutorials online, but I find I'm not a fan of, just because you can tell that it's been done. The fact that you can get all of the stuff that you need for glass cabinets if you go for the Detolf at IKEA, it makes it very easy for those that aren't able to go for something much more difficult, much more expensive, have to deal with customization. You right there? Also from IKEA, you've got options like the Kallax. So the Kallax was a replacement for the Expedit, but it is effectively the same thing with just slightly smaller dimensions. There's also Besta Cubes, there's also Klingsbo, I think Fabricor is another one. And yeah, they're all other just cabinets. Some of them are wooden laminate, some of them are glass cabinets. So the Klingsbo is a glass cabinet with a metal frame. And those are all good options as well. It really depends on what's best for you. So for the Kallax in particular, I find that it's better for books rather than figures, though I do use some of my Kallax/Expedit cubes for displaying figures, mostly on top. As far as customizing them, because you've got the wooden cabinets of the Besta or the Kallax, it is possible to go and add in lighting there just by drilling through the sides, through the bottom, however you want to do it, and add in lights that way. The Besta solution in particular You can very easily go and do a customization using IKEA's website, so you can come up with your own solution. They also come with glass doors that you can go and add in, which is really awesome, and I'm probably going to be looking at getting some of those for myself because those cubes in particular are quite big and you can fit very large figures in there. For example, the First for Figures stuff. So those that come in 1/4 scale as well. And the Dark Souls series in particular is very big. Moving from IKEA furniture, there are other furniture stores that sell glass cabinets, there are other furniture stores that sell bookcases, all of those sorts of things. And I find that when you're looking at other solutions, the thing that you should be looking for is how many shelves, how high they are, if you can add in lighting, if it already comes with lighting, and obviously price. I find that for something like the IKEA Detolf, I wouldn't want to pay more than maybe $120, $130. This is talking in Australian. It might be slightly different if you're elsewhere, but obviously it depends on what you prefer. If you find the right cabinet for the right price, then absolutely go for it. Are you right there? So those are all the regular retail solutions that are just for your hobby collectors. So if you end up getting highly obsessed like I do, you find that Detolfs and whatnot get a little bit too small for you, especially if you're going and buying $100 figures, $150 figures, $200, moving it to whatever price point. I find that you want to try and balance out how much you're spending on cabinets and the quality of cabinet, depending on how much you're actually spending on average. It seems a little bit funny if you're going and being quite cheap on the cabinets that you're getting, if you're spending several $1,000s on your figures. I mean, yes, you'd rather spend the money on the plastic, but it's definitely important to be able to display them properly as well. What I have are wholesale solutions for retail stores. So rather than me going into a retail shop and buying a cabinet that they're selling to consumers, I've actually gone to a wholesaler that sells cabinets to retailers for displaying jewelry or their merchandise. These ones are known as frameless glass cabinets. So as you can see here, there are no frames on the side, and the shelves are actually just supported by a few metal pegs, which are on the sides, on the backs, in the center. There are also solutions that come with frames, but I found when I was going and picking these out that I preferred to not have a frame because I was quite tired of the frames that the Detolfs had. These are also adjustable. So on the sides, there are a few holes which are for where these side pegs go, and you just go and line those up and the shelves just slide into there. I find that these are really, really good. The glass is thicker than that of the Detolf. The depth is a lot more, so these are 40 centimeters in depth, but that can also be a bit of a drawback because you can't display things right at the back if you have shelves up against the wall. However, having a glass cabinet means that you can go and have things a bit away from the wall, so you can actually have things facing both ways, which is kind of cool. I don't exactly have the space for that here though. As far as lighting, most of these retail solutions will come with lighting options, so you can go and buy extra pelmets, you can get halogen lights or LED lights. If you've got a frame, typically you can get these LEDs that shine in, or halogens, and they'll actually shine in on the lower shelves of the cabinet as well. And beyond that, there's also the cube solution. So I've gone and shown a couple of pictures of the bigger cubes that I have upstairs. I went and picked those up when I got quite frustrated with these cabinets and how much trouble I was having going and organizing the shelves and deciding where I wanted everything to go. I was so spoiled by the Detolf's cubes that I was able to say, all right, this is for Madoka, this is for Love Live, this is for this show, this is for that show. Whereas for these cabinets, it's not as feasible because not every show has 30 figures. So I went and got the cube solution, which is this. So these cubes are actually all individual panes and you have to put it together yourself, which is quite hard. It's really heavy and it's a lot of work. I actually spent a couple of nights putting this together by myself in the middle of the night. You can go and get them in different setups. You can get them as 3x3 like I have. You can go and get them as a square going down like a Tetris block. You can also get pelmets for these, and you can get bases for them to lift them up a bit higher. So I've gone and gotten a little cabinet to go and raise these up so it's not on the ground. The whole idea of raising glass cabinets off the ground is great for those that don't like having figures right on the ground. I mean, if you've got figures on the ground, typically they're not going to be well seen. Most people aren't looking down that low. The lowest that they'll look is probably about maybe knee height. So if you've got cabinets and you're thinking about, oh, but what am I going to put on the bottom? Definitely look at ways that you can go and lift them up a little bit higher. Really, those are the main sorts of cabinets that I can talk about myself. If there are other cabinets that you want to know about, feel free to ask me in the comments below. If there are enough people asking about a specific kind of cabinet, I could go and do a little bit of research into it and do a bit of comparison to what I have and whether I think that that might be better or worse, if I'm interested in them, if I've passed on them in the past. If you've enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments. Go like, subscribe, all of those sorts of things. That way I know if you want me to go and make more videos like this. I have quite a few topics that I can talk about, but obviously I want to know if that's what you want to watch. Thanks for watching.